the Direct Selling Association, the DSA, is having a legal and regulatory conference December the 9th to 11th. And we've got the names and faces of 5 elected officials who are confirmed speakers at this event. And they support multi-level marketing companies. So this is really good because if you live in their districts, you could contact them, send them an email and ask them to withdraw their support of multi-level marketing schemes. I wrote an open letter to these gentlemen because I live in Canada. I'm unable to contact them. When you go onto their website, they have different fields, like we just want to hear from our residents, or they just want to hear from people in the US, which I mean is understandable, you know. However, being a consumer advocate, the policies that have harmed so many consumers in the US and the lack of the FTC to do anything to protect consumers in regards to multi-level marketing schemes have a significant impact here in Canada. And as a consumer protection advocate, just doing this in my spare time, most of the people I help are American citizens. So what I can do is I can show this information. I can give you an example of what I wrote as an open letter. And I also have contacted every MLA here in Canada in a little campaign I did over about 3 or 4 days. It took a lot out of me. I'm still recovering from it, to be honest. So I'm not asking you to be doing something any more than what I have done. So I contacted them all. Some of them I couldn't find their emails, very few. Some, they're not all called MLAs. They're called different names in Quebec and in Newfoundland and Labrador just about did me in because they just had an election and their website wasn't updated. And then I had to go sleuth around on Facebook to find out emails. And then one I had to there's 2, I think, that I had to go through the Chamber of Commerce. And then they sent me a link back to verify that this was the email. And then some of the emails in Nunavut that I sent out, they bounced back to me. But on the whole, I got them. I got all of these emails sent out. And I also included a copy of Delaware's bill HB 162, which was addressing multi-level marketing companies. And I have to say that the feedback that I'm still getting, responses from my emails that I've sent out, have been incredibly positive. You would think that most of them would be, well, thanks so much, but contact your own MLA, or this is a federal issue, contact your member of parliament. And that's not the case. I have meetings that I'm setting up with some people, and this is still going on because the responses are still coming in. And this is from across Canada: British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, Nunavut, Northwest Territories, and Yukon. I'm talking all across Canada. Nobody likes multi-level marketing schemes. Doesn't matter who you vote for, where you live. There's a unifying feeling about these things, you know. A lot of the responses that I've received back have been, thanking me for my advocacy. Some have linked me with other people to send an email to, or file another report to, giving me more information about like how to file another report, connecting me with someone else. So there's a lot. I mean, it's like networking. So I encourage you, wherever you live in the world, send out some emails. You could just send one. It's totally fine. If you want to go gung-ho and do something like we did, some nutso thing that we used to do when we were in MLMs, you can do what I did too. Just go methodically. Make the email. It can be really draining just to get to that point. But once you get to that point, it's easy to just send them out. Then it's just a slog. And then you go through all the same feelings that we did when we were in MLM and doing prospecting. See if they're open and give them an out, you know, just fire them out one at a time, over and over and over again. But it's worth it. You're going for no. You feel really good at first, getting energized, and then there'll be the predictable kind of slide into apathy and feeling everything is futile. And then you'll like get that grit and gumption and then just like keep trooping on, you know. And then, you know, you could send it out to everyone. I was thinking of maybe starting to do this in Montana, like the Montana State Legislature, because I have the emails. I've looked online and it shows all their contact information. I thought, well, why not? Maybe I should start going through the US too, but the US is a lot bigger than Canada. It took a lot out of me to send all these emails to everyone in Canada. So anyway, back to this. So here are the confirmed speakers: Richard Hudson, Chairman, Direct Selling Caucus. Kevin Kiley, Lead Sponsor, HR 3495, Direct Seller and Real Estate Agent Harmonization Act. Blake Moore, Member, Direct Selling Caucus. Burgess Owens, C-Lead Sponsor, HR 3495, Direct Seller and Real Estate Harmonization Act. And Tim Wahlberg, Chairman, House Committee on Education and the Workforce. Now, there's two things that really stand out to me in this so far, and it's that there's a direct selling caucus. This is MLMs. If that's what they're talking about when they're talking about direct selling, it just sounds better because they can't address what these things really are. They have to cover it up. It sounds more pleasant and more business-like to call it direct selling. And there's two individuals on here that are MLM participants. I wonder what MLM they're in. My guess is EXP Realty because they're doing something with this real estate Agent Harmonization Act. That's my guess. I don't know. What do you think? Scrolling down, this says momentum is on our side, but the past year's gains have exposed the battles we must now prepare to fight. Isn't this just the weirdest thing that they're talking about fighting? It's always so antagonistic, combative, brutal. When you think of most of the people that are involved in these schemes are women. There's one, according to the DSA here in Canada, it's 1.1 million Canadians are labeled independent sales consultants. They sign up for a business opportunity that doesn't exist because they're not actually owners of their business. And of that 1.1 million Canadians, it's 924,000 women that are misled and deceived into signing up with an MLM scheme. This is a significant amount of the population that is directly being impacted by predominantly US-based multi-level marketing schemes. Now, when I had a meeting, I don't know if you know this, I had a meeting with two law officers from Competition Bureau Canada. This was a result of another letter writing campaign that I did. And I had written somebody who had met with the Direct Selling Association, and then they managed to set up this meeting. And it's awesome. Like I said, it doesn't matter who you are, where you live in Canada. People don't like MLMs. Now, the people that I spoke with at the Competition Bureau mentioned, and rightfully so, that a lot of these MLM companies, they'll have their own company based in Canada. But what they don't know, what I wasn't able to get through was that while the companies might be based, some of them might be based in Canada, like take, for example, Mon8 Canada and like Mon8 US, but the uplines could be in the US. So a lot of that money that you're paying, it gets funneled up and out of the country and to the US. I'm not the first person to talk about this. I know David Brear has spoken about this extensively, like talking about what's gone in the UK with Amway, and like all this money is being like pushed out and then to the US. So I don't know how to address this. I don't know who to go to this. So what I do is I go everywhere. I'm going to contact everyone and I'm going to say, well, this is what I've got. Can you help Canadians? You know, and you can do the same thing. Okay, back to this thing. Okay, here's the conference. What was once a compliance update is now a strategic forum for legal professionals who need foresight, not just information. While your in-house work is focused on the business of direct selling, DSA has been on the front lines, give me a break, engaging wherever and whenever needed to protect the channel. This is the language that the Direct Selling Association uses. They call themselves direct selling first off, and they also refer to themselves as a channel. The front lines. Oh my gosh. And if you just think, how many people do you know that have been screwed over and exploited and lied to by somebody in an MLM? And then you have this massive body that has elected officials on their side. And they're like, we've got to fight this fight. Who are you fighting against? The single mom that's buying candles and shampoo and trying to make some extra money on the side part-time. That's who you're fighting against, these same predominantly women who are speaking out against multi-level marketing companies. That's who you're on the front lines. You're going to, you're really going to fight them. Well, bring it. The wins have been real. HR 3495 advanced in Congress. Harmful legislation was stopped in Delaware, and consumer trust is rising. But every engagement has revealed exactly where opponents will strike next. Who are these opponents? Opponents are victims of these scams. And the elected officials who are doing the work on behalf of their constituents. But predominantly, it's victims. That's who the DSA is fighting against. They're fighting for you. Aren't they kind? So it's funny, he says that harmful legislation was stopped in Delaware. So this is referring to HB 162, which I've made content on this. Always Marco has made content on this. Queen of Karma has also made content on this. And if anybody else has, let me know, like drop it in the comments below. But I don't think it's stopped. I thought that it's just paused, but maybe it has been stopped. I don't think so. I thought it was just paused. Anyway, that was interesting to see. I made a video on this when they had it was like a hearing, and they had victims of multi-level marketing scams testify. And they were so well spoken. And it was heartbreaking too, to hear these stories. And so then you juxtapose that with this, where it's like, we've got to fight. Opponents are going to strike next. Yeah, the person that has been screwed over by Amway, that was lied to, that had their families destroyed, that said they were going to be earning money if only they put in a lot of hard work and were consistent. That's who they're fighting against. This is so stupid. These elected officials need to hear from you. This thing has gone on long enough. It doesn't need to be like this. Okay. The threats are no longer on the horizon. They're here. Federal sweeping, FTC rulemakings, and looming FDA scrutiny signaled by key lawmakers. State California's costly PAGA lawsuits, New Jersey's ABC test, Delaware HB 162's deferred mandates, and new Texas legislation. So that's interesting, where they're referring to Delaware's deferred mandate, but he said that the harmful legislation was stopped in Delaware. It's confusing. Reputation in politics, partisan hearings casting sellers as suspect, and cultural narratives that distort how our channel works. Those cultural narratives. You've got to watch out for all those thousands and thousands and thousands of multi-level marketing victims that have turned to social media to get their voices amplified. Look on any social media platform, here on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Substack. So many people are speaking out against multi-level marketing companies and helping their teams exit with as easily as possible. The lawfare and intimidation from these multi-level marketing companies it's just disgusting. The members of the public who just want to go to a farmer's market and not be misled and harassed by people who call themselves direct sellers when they don't own their small businesses. They just want to go and buy some jam and maybe some like crocheted items, and oh no, here's a booth of a multi-level marketing product. It's not wanted here. Where there's always the real product in these things are the ability to recruit others, who in turn recruit others. Consumers have had enough. I know I have. Okay, back to this. Now it says the DSA Legal and Regulatory Conference is where legal teams join regulators, policymakers, and industry peers to confront them head on and prepare their companies for what's next. So you've got elected officials, you have legal teams, you've got regulators and policymakers, and all of these people are getting together December 9th and 11th to combat the stay-at-home mom who is selling essential oils and has realized she's been scammed and lied to. And she starts making videos on TikTok, helping others exit and heal. And this is what they have to band together to combat that. Isn't this just preposterous? Absolutely shameful. Okay, it says the headlines say we're winning. Register now to uncover the fine print and reveal the threats your company can't afford to miss. What headlines? Of course, in a multi-level marketing company or the direct selling channel, they can never cite their sources. They just have to use hyperbole and also outright lies most of the time. The next thing I want to show you is my open letter to these gentlemen. Now, at the time, there was only 4 confirmed speakers, so I didn't include all of them in here, but I'm including it now for this. And then you could maybe use this as inspiration to write your own email, and send it out to whoever, wherever you are in the world. Okay, open letter to Kevin Kiley, Richard Hudson, Blake Moore, Tim Wahlberg. I am a consumer protection advocate in Alberta, Canada. I noticed that you are going to be speaking at the upcoming Direct Selling Association DSA event, which will be occurring from December 9th to 11th, 2025, and am respectfully asking you to withdraw your endorsement of multi-level marketing pyramid schemes. I was defrauded by a multi-level marketing pyramid scheme, MLM, and now speak out against them. I am a full-time community disability support worker. I work night shift, and during the day, I do consumer advocacy, utilizing all the social media skills I developed during the 5 years I was involved in MLM to warn consumers and help others exit these scams. I began speaking out in December 2021 and now amplify victims' voices and educate consumers around the world to identify and avoid these scams via my YouTube channel, interviews, and a documentary I've been featured in. I do all of this for free in my spare time. I do not monetize my content. Most of the people I help are American citizens. Last year, I spoke at a consumer protection conference in Washington, D.C. at the Office of the Attorney General. Most recently, I was live on CBC Radio High Noon with Bob Murphy. I have filed numerous reports here in Canada with the Competition Bureau, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, and also in the United States with the Federal Trade Commission in regards to deceptive earnings and medical claims and blatant fraud occurring. I believe inertia and lack of awareness, the lobbying efforts of the Direct Selling Association, and the precedent set in the United States with the Federal Trade Commission accepting the 1979 ruling that Amway was not a pyramid scheme all play a part in why consumers continue to be defrauded by these schemes. It is honestly absurd that MLM endless chain recruitment schemes are permitted to exist. All multi-level marketing companies are pyramid schemes. Some sell tangible products, some sell virtual products. All of them rely on endless chain recruitment, a recruiting mandate, an extreme money transfer from the bottom to the top, and a pay-to-play model. Multi-level marketing is simply fraud. It's like the world's worst kept secret. Everyone knows to avoid these things. They are the butt of many a joke, and yet they are permitted to exist and defraud vulnerable populations who do not know any better. There is a burgeoning anti-MLM movement of victims from around the world who are organizing and speaking out against these scams, as well as jurisdictions in the United States which are actively attempting to protect consumers from MLMs. I lost 5 years of my life being involved in an MLM pyramid scheme. The financial cost is one thing, but the social cost is even more devastating. People do not come forward because there is a deep shame at having been scammed and because MLMs are erroneously deemed illegal. Will you help protect consumers from MLM schemes? I am happy to discuss further. So I posted that. I also want to post this. This is from Queen of Karma. She has generously offered like a template as well that you could use, as inspiration. This is a letter that she has sent out or created for here in Canada. And I'm just going to leave it up here. So you might want to take a screenshot of this or pause the video so you can just look at that. And thank you very much to Queen of Karma. I'm going to be linking her channel. Go check out her work as well. She's another Canadian anti-MLM advocate. Thank you so much to everybody who is helping out the anti-MLM movement. I used to say thank you to every anti-MLM content creator, and I need to expand that because there is so much work going on in the background. There always has, but there's even more now as more and more people exit. So there's people that are still in these companies, have Facebook groups, and are helping their teams, their downlines, like exit and kind of deprogram, pointing them in the direction of different resources, different videos on YouTube here, different books like Little Bosses Everywhere by Bridget Reed, or Ponzi-nomics by Robert Fitzpatrick, or Combating Cult Mind Control and Freedom of Mind by Stephen Hassan. There's people that solely make content in the stories of Instagram, for example, and will be getting messages from their downline that they had huge organizations and they're helping them exit. Having conversations with people that are reaching out to them. I thought that you really love this company. I'm starting to have doubts. And just being there, listening to people. There's so much going on now that you see so much content being made, thank goodness. But there's also, at the same time, all this other stuff going on. So just thank you to everybody who is helping out, because you really helped me out and you continue to. And thank you so much for watching my content and other anti-MLM content creators' content. Your comments are so good. There's a lot of stuff I miss. There's a lot of stuff I don't know. It's pretty obvious. I'm doing the best that I can, you know. Sometimes it's not the best that I can. I'm just doing what I can. And I really appreciate your feedback and just adding insight, explaining certain things, and helping others that are starting to exit as well. And it's going on in the comment section. That social proof is needed for people exiting these things, you know, to let them know they're not alone. And so while, you know, you can be up against, you know, people that you might admire, politicians, and they're endorsing this, and it can feel really intimidating. My encouragement to you is to take heart and to stand up and send an email. Send more than one email. Send 100. Go for no. Why not? You've got nothing to lose. And as more and more people do, the voices are impossible to ignore. You know what they say, magic only happens outside your comfort zone. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.